like to share that Dr. U.K. Kalla have in the past 5 years more than 20 IEEE transaction paper published. So it's a big credit. Even in our affinity, as you are all faculty members, if a person get a IEEE paper in his uh, in his short span of teaching job, a single IEEE paper, he feel elevated. If a person get 5 year in a one IEEE paper, he feels very elevated. So he have that's so number of transaction papers. That's a remarkable achievement from him. He have a number of patent application and granted patents. So really, we are honored to have such a learned speaker among us. So, Dr. Kalla, I welcome you and uh, hand over the dais to you to enlighten all participants in the relevant field. Thank you.
Uh, thank you, Professor Palwalia Sahab. Professor Palwalia Sahab is very good friend to me, and really he's a very motivating person, a very good administrator, very good academician, very good researcher. Really, he's excellent. So now I'm starting my presentation. Thank you, Palwalia Sahab, for giving me the chance. Okay, to
Sir,
present.
same here also. Thank you to you also.
Sir. Pranam, sir. Pranam, sir. Sir. Just I'm starting now. Are you able to see my presentation now?
Yeah, very clear. Just make it full screen, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So today I have been asked to discuss about the recent advancement and control of the BLDC drives. Okay. So we have also started working in this area since last 3-4 years, and we have implemented number of schemes on DSP controllers, and I have also worked along with Professor Palwalia and me jointly have worked in this area, and we have jointly published the papers, very good international papers. We have guided jointly PhD also in this area. So we have worked in this area for BLDC control. We have implemented number of control schemes using DSP controllers, and a lot of new concept we have learned, and we have also developed new concepts. So today I am going to deliver how to implement advanced control schemes for BLDC motor drive control. Okay. So what are the major challenges? One thing first I would like to discuss. Okay. So major challenge in the BLDC motor control is the efficient control scheme. Although BLDC motor itself is very much efficient motor. Okay. So the efficiency of the BLDC motors are they are having highest efficiency among all the other motors. Okay, till date reported in the literature. But however, still the research community is facing problem in controller part and power electronic converter part. Okay, and some topologies which have been reported, but people are not able to implement them in real time. Okay, people are facing a lot of problem while they are implementing them. So somehow we have also dropped some topologies and we implemented them, and we'll so implementation of the control scheme is some issues because of the improper control, improper topology of the converter. The overall system efficiency reduces to very low level sometimes. Okay, so although motor itself has a very high efficiency, but you have to have some controller because of BLDC is a special machine. BLDC motor drive is a special machine. Special machines means which can be operated, which require some power electronic converter for their operation. Okay, so there are two types of machines. One of the conventional machine and some special machines. So conventional machines can be drive through the conventionally available electric power like AC power or DC power. Okay, but as far as special machines are concerned, they not be catered driven by the conventionally available AC or DC power, you have to have some power lightning converter for their operation. Okay, so we first put some converter at the prior stage. Okay, and through that voltage source inverter, we feed power to the BLDC. Okay, so BLDC has number of windings. Okay, and the inverter switches rotates the current in different windings, and accordingly the rotating magnetic field is all rotates. Okay, so you have to have a voltage source inverter for the operation of the BLDC motor drives. Okay, so the scheme what I am presenting here is have a large number of applications nowadays. Like almost all the washing machines are made of BLDC motor. That is why they write like this is a inverter driven BLDC refrigerator, inverter driven washing machine, inverter driven air conditioning system. So they are writing like that because they will be using BLDC motor. Okay, so if you are using BLDC motor in air conditioning system, in washing machine, in any domestic appliances, then you have to have inverter. Okay, so because of you required inverter for their operation, because of you are using a special machine. And BLDC machines are being used in all domestic applications because of BLDCs have a very high efficiency. So it is meeting the 5-star norms of the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Okay, nowadays throughout the world, people are talking about the efficiency of the system. People are talking about the 3-star system. They are talking about 5-star system. They are talking about 4-star system. Now the customers are also aware. They ask for the 5-star system. They know that will reduce their electricity bills. Okay, so now for getting higher star ratings for a particular given motor, you have to have a better converter system, better control system. Okay, so that is why a large number of researchers throughout the world are working in this area, and they are developing number of control schemes and converter schemes for the efficient reliable control of PMBLDC motor. Okay, as far as simply the speed control of BLDC motor is concerned, that is not a big task. Okay, so important task is when your system is capable of operating very well under steady state as well as in dynamic operating conditions also. Okay, so your system should be stable in dynamic operating conditions also. That is also very important. Okay, now see, there are two types of control schemes are possible with the BLDC motor. One is the PWM based control, another one is the DC link control. Okay, so in PWM based control scheme, what we do, just we supply a constant DC power to the inverter. We supply a constant DC power to the inverter of the voltage source inverter. Okay, and then inverter supply the AC, okay, in form of pulses to the BLDC windings. Okay, but suppose winding A is energized for 10 millisecond. Okay, so if you are using a PWM based control scheme, then we will apply the train of pulses for that 10 millisecond. Okay, but if you are using a fundamental switching technique, okay, if you are using a fundamental switching technique, then we will turn on the that particular IGBT for continuously for 10 millisecond. Okay, and if we are using PWM based scheme, then we will switch on and switch off continuously. Okay, means we will apply the train of pulses to the gate of that IGBT, so continuously that switch will be on and off and on and off. Okay, then the duty cycle of that switching scheme will decide the actual speed of the BLDC motor. Okay, but however, if you are using fundamental switching technique, then we'll continuously switch on the that switch for particular for 10 millisecond continuously. Okay, so that is called fundamental switching technique. Okay, so if you are using a fundamental switching technique, then all the switches will operate at very low frequency. All the 6 switches of the voltage source inverter will operate at very low frequency, so the efficiency of the inverter will become definitely very high, because of switching losses are very high usually in all inverters. Okay, so switching losses contributes a large portion of the losses, okay, in the system. So because of we are using here the fundamental switching instead of high frequency pendulum switching, so definitely the switching frequency will be significantly reduced, and efficiency will be also improved 1,000 times. Okay. Then what we are doing, we are here we are using a DC-DC converter. Okay, so that DC-DC converter is supplying an adjustable DC voltage to this inverter. Okay. So as per the fundamental fundamental principle, where if you will vary the DC bus voltage of the inverter, definitely the magnitude of the output AC voltage will vary. Okay. So by varying this magnitude of the IC output voltage, we can vary the speed of the BLDC motor. So however, we can say that the speed of the BLDC motor is directly proportional to the DC link voltage. Okay. So speed of the BLDC motor is directly proportional to the DC link voltage of the inverter. Okay. So here in this scheme, we are using an AC source. Okay. So we are using an AC source. The AC source is supplying AC power that is fed to the diode bridge rectifier. Then diode bridge rectifier is converting that into the DC. Okay. Now we are operating this DC-DC converter in power factor correction mode, PFC mode of operation. Okay. So here we are operating this converter in power factor correction mode. Okay. And we'll be having two inductor, one at the input side and one at the output side. Okay. So this is the modified CSC converter. Okay. So this topology has been developed by us in our laboratory, and we'll be having two inductors. One is at the input side and one is at the output side. Okay. And both are both are provided here to remove all the ripples in the current. So because of I will be having an inductor at the input side, definitely it will make the input current continuous, and I will also having a high energy output inductor that will also make the output current smooth. Okay. So the ripple in the output and input current both are removed, so that definitely that will improve the stability of the system. Okay. Because of this is fundamentally this motor drive system, and motor drive system is a current based system. This is not a voltage based system. Okay. So it is very important to maintain the profile of the current. So profile of the current is really significantly improved by the input and output inductors, because of we will be having big inductor at the input and output both the sides. Okay. And for that we have made required changes in this CSC topology. Okay. So that my scheme is highly suitable for the motor applications, because of it is removing all the ripples in the input side current and output side current both. Okay. So this DC-DC converter, which is the modified form of the CSC converter, it is having large energy storage component in it. Okay. So because of it will be having large energy storage capabilities, definitely it improves the dynamic performance of the system significantly, particularly like in air conditioning system. Okay. So if you will switch on and switch off the air conditioning system, okay, so suddenly if electrical supply will be turned on, and again it will come within a 1 microsecond or 2 microsecond. So in a mechanical system of the air conditioning, a large sudden change in load will appear. Okay. And because of that sudden load change in air conditioning system, finally that will be transferred to the motor side, and from motor side it will be transferred from the DC-DC converter side. Okay. So if your DC-DC converter is not having sufficient capability to deal with such a dynamic situation, such a transient situation, or such a critical load perturbation situation, your system will become unstable. Okay. And sometime your winding of the motor may also burn away. Okay. So that is like that. So that is why our topology is really excellent. Okay. It is a really excellent topology, and we are saving. We have significantly improved the steady state as well as the dynamic performance of the system. Okay. So here we are using a diode bridge rectifier. Okay. So fundamentally diode bridge rectifier is feeding power to this DC-DC converter, and my DC-DC converter is operating in power factor correction mode. Okay. So it is operating in a power factor correction mode of operation. So because it is operating in the power factor correction mode, so the current and voltage at the source side both will be in phase. Okay, so the power factor of the system will be unity. Okay, now important thing is that it is not a new thing to operate a DC-DC converter in power factor correction mode. Okay, so definitely it is not, it's a well-known thing, but important thing is to operate such a high power converter in PFC mode without any disturbances. Okay, that was a big achievement. Okay, so we have implemented this PFC scheme on 3 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt motor, where we are suddenly changing the loads, and my controller also meeting the all sudden load change operating conditions. Okay, so the stability is maintained in such dynamic operating situations. Okay, so further my this DC-DC converter is operating in continuous conduction mode of operation. Okay, so in CCM mode we are operating. So further, because of we are operating that in CCM mode, so stress on the devices is also significantly reduced. Okay, further the stability is improved. Okay, so we are operating this scheme in continuous conduction mode, so that the scheme is directly applicable, directly useful for high power systems also. Okay, so this is really very good scheme for the high power BLDC motor drive speed controls. However, it is really also excellent for all the domestic applications. This is really very good, because of here we are using the fundamental switching technique. Okay, and we are supplying an adjustable DC voltage using this new modified CSC converter, DC converter to the inverter. So by varying the DC link voltage, we are varying the speed of the PMBLDC motor, because of the speed of the PMBLDC motor is directly proportional to the DC link voltage of the inverter. Okay. Now, see, we have we are using here a control. So in this we'll be having Hall effect position sensor that are installed in the PMBLDC motor. Okay, so these Hall effect position sensor are providing information about the rotor position, okay, of the BLDC motor, and that position is sent to the electronic commutation circuit, and then commutation circuit is generating gating signals for the 6 IGBTs. Okay, so now because I'm using the fundamental switching, so this part has become is significantly simplified here. So when you will implement this part, it is very simple, because of we are using here the fundamental switching, and this operation will also be very much efficient. Okay. So, and next is the speed control loop. Okay, so we will measure the speed of the PMBLDC motor. Okay, and we will compare that with the reference speed. Okay, and then we will generate the error voltage. Okay, so that reference speed is compared with the DC link voltage. Okay, and because of DC link voltage directly represent to the speed of the motor, so that is compared with the DC link voltage, and then error is processed through the PI controller. Then output of the PI controller is fed to the reference current generator. Okay, so that reference current generator is fed to this PWM current controller. Okay, so here in PWM current controller, we are multiplying that reference current generator with the unit template of the output voltage of the rectifier. Okay, so that the will obtain the PFC operation, so that the source current will be remain in phase with the voltage. Okay, so source voltage and current both will be in phase, because of we are taking the unit template from the output of the single phase rectifier. Okay, then the output of this PWM controller is being fed to the switching, is used to generate the switching pulses, and those are fed to the IGBT. Okay, so this is all about the control scheme, then voltage source inverter, then DC link capacitor, then DC-DC converter. Okay, then मनु देखो कुछ जलने की बदबू आ रही है, देखना किसी से। सो देखिए कुछ जलने की बदबू आ रही है। So this is all about the basic scheme. देखिए कुछ जल तो नहीं रहा है, कुछ जल तो नहीं रहा देखिए. So that is the basic scheme. Okay. So all the parts of the scheme I have already discussed. Okay. So now here important is how to implement it. Okay. So for the implementation, you have to have some digital controller. Okay. So for the digital control scheme, first you should decide the input variables. Okay. So here the input variable is the DC link voltage. Okay. And output rectifier voltage, output of the rectifier. Okay. So rectified voltage and DC link voltage, these two are the input variables. Okay. Then source current is another input variable. Okay. So three input variables. Okay. So these information about these three input variables are supplied to the digital controller in every sampling time. Okay. So suppose if we have set the sampling time of 40 microsecond. So after every 40 microsecond, my sensors will supply the information about these three input variable to the controller, DSP controllers. Okay. Now, while you are selecting your sensors, you should always take care of the minimum sampling time of that sensor, because of resolution of the control scheme or resolution of the your overall speed control scheme will depend on the sampling time only. Okay. Suppose you'll be having 40 microsecond sampling time. Okay. So in 120 millisecond cycle, you will have only 500 samples. Okay. So in 500 samples means you can regulate your system up to 0.01%. Okay. So it may not be better than that. Okay. So if you want to improve the regulation of your um, controlled parameter, means if you are controlling anything like speed or frequency or voltage in any digital controller, so if you are, even if you are controlling the speed, that will also depend on the sampling time. Okay. So if you want to improve the control of your speed, definitely you should reduce the sampling time. Okay. So designing of other part is also important, but the sampling time is also equally important. Sometimes it is more important. Although you may have very good converter, you may have everything very good, but if you have a high sampling time, you may not have very good dynamic response, because of that sampling time will put a check on the dynamic control. Okay. So finally you should be able to reduce the your sampling time. Okay. So once you will reduce the sampling time, definitely the overall dynamic response of your system will be improved. So sensors have their own sampling time requirement. Okay. Like Hall effect sensor. So if you are using voltage current, you usually you have to go for Hall effect voltage sensor and current sensors. So as far as Hall effect current sensor are concerned, they require very less time. Okay. So usually their sampling time is less than 1 microsecond. Okay. But as far as voltage sensors are concerned, they require larger time for sampling. So usually they require 40 microsecond, 20 microsecond, 30 microsecond. Sometimes it may require 100 microsecond even. Okay, that depends on the quality of that particular Hall effect sensor. So while you are selecting your sensors, you should take care of this thing. Okay. So actually, if you have a sensors which require 40 microsecond sampling time, so definitely that will not give you any value addition. Even if you will improve your controller, even if you will be having very powerful controller, you will be having very good algorithm, but your sensor will put a check on your dynamic response. Okay. And overall efficiency of your system. So it is very important, while the selection of the current and voltage sensor very important, as far as it will determine the minimum possible sampling time of your digital controller. Okay. Then come to the digital controller. In digital controller, important thing is the minimum ADC channels. Okay, so if you have 3 or 4 input variables, so definitely a controller with 8 ADC channel is sufficient for you to implement such system. So number of ADC channel will decide the cost of your controller. So you should choose the number of ADCs and your controller carefully. If you will choose a DSP controller with very large number of input ADC signals, so definitely it will facilitate. But if it is not required, then it will unnecessarily increase the cost of your system. Okay, so you should choose the DSP controller and number of ADCs for your DSP controller accordingly, so that it should be optimally selected, so that it should meet all the requirement, and you should not have any unnecessary pending ADC channels. Unnecessary, they will consume the electric power also, although they require very less power for their operation. However, but that will increase the cost of your system. Okay, so you should optimally select your DSP controller as far as the number of ADCs are concerned. Okay. Now next is the calculation capability of your controller. Okay. So if you want to reduce the sampling time of your DSP of your digital controller for by reducing the sampling time, so there you have two options. If you want to reduce the overall sampling time of your system, so you have two options. One option is you should revise your control algorithm. Okay, so you should improve your control algorithm and design your control algorithm in such a manner that it will require lesser time for its execution. Okay, so you have to revise your control algorithm. Okay, and then next is the next way is to use more powerful controller. Okay, but for that you have to pay for that. Okay, you have to lose your money. Okay, because of you have to pay for that. But if you are a lazy person, if you don't want to improve your control algorithm, definitely you should pay for it, and you should purchase more powerful controller, so that you will be able to reduce the sampling time of your controller. Okay, control scheme. Okay, so definitely the overall resolution of your control will be improved, and finally definitely the dynamic response of your system will be significantly improved. Okay, because of that. So there are two ways to improve the control part. One is by using more powerful DSP controller, and second is by reducing the calculation burden of your control scheme. Okay, so there are two options, one for smart and hardworking people, and another for the lazy people. Okay, but however, even if you will improve your control algorithm, you will reach to an optimal condition. So that amount you have to pay for your controller. But nowadays, number of controllers, low cost DSP controllers are available in the market. So what you should do, you should continuously update your coding skills. You should continuously update your algo skills. Okay, so that you will be able to make available simple and low cost DSP controller. Okay, so definitely you should be in touch with the market, and you should read the literature of the all the companies which are dealing with the DSP controller, like Texas Instrument, STMicroelectronics. Okay, so Texas Instrument is one of the leading company of this world. Okay, so almost 3 times DSP controllers, or more number of DSP controller being sold by the Texas Instrument in comparison to its competitor, nearest competitor. Okay, so although ST Microelectronics, other companies are also available, so you are required to continuously visit the website of these companies, and they have published a lot of documents on their websites. Application notes are also there. So using those application notes and data sheets and other information provided by these company on their websites, so you can learn a lot of things, new things, and that will keep you updated. So you always remain in touch with these website of this company, and lot of academic and literature, academic material inputs and literatures are available on these websites. So even I would like to suggest you should also ask to the your students, even this reading of these application notes should also be included in your syllabus also, so that students will have habit and they will come to know a very reliable academic information and literature is available on the company sites also. In addition to their commercial information about their commercial product, they also publish large number of documents in technical areas, and they will be having very good R&D experts with PhDs, and they are writing real-time application notes. Although those notes are also to help their products actually to understand the people about their product, but however that will help to you also. Okay, so you should continuously visit the website of Texas Instrument, ST Microelectronics. They have a lot of literature they have published on their website, and you should refer those application notes also. Okay, so all these control schemes was implemented in that DSP controller. Okay, then DSP controller execute the control algorithm in during every sampling time, and output of the DSP controller is fed to the optical isolator. Okay, so output of that optical isolator is fed to this IGBT switch. Okay, so as earlier I had discussed the in PWM speed control technique, we will be having 6 switches which were operating at high frequencies. But now in this fundamental switching technique, we are using a DC-DC converter for supplying an adjustable DC power, DC voltage to the voltage source inverter. So now because of we are using this PFC, power factor corrected DC-DC converter, so we require to operate only one switch at high frequency. Okay, so in fundamental switching, definitely you require to operate only one switch at high frequency, but in PWM based speed control technique of BLDC, you require to operate all the 6 switches of your voltage source inverter at the high frequencies. So by using this fundamental switching, so you will reduce the switching losses at least 6 times, because of in PWM speed control technique you are operating all the 6 switches at high frequency. Here we are only operating one switch at high frequency. Definitely losses will be there in that high frequency switch, but that will be 6 times lesser than the PWM based scheme, where we were operating all the 6 switches at high frequency, very high frequency. Okay, so in that way we are reducing the switching losses due to the switching. Okay, so switching losses of the signals system have been significantly reduced by using this DC link control and by using this fundamental scheme. Okay, and further because of the whole speed control is based on one switch only. Okay, because of we are varying the speed of the DC motor using the firing of this single IGBT only. Okay, so whenever you required any change in the speed, you require to change the switching sequence and duty cycle of one switch only. Okay, so if you will be having 6 switches, so changes will be different in different winding at different times. So definitely the dynamic response in a PWM based switching technique will be very poor in comparison to this fundamental switching, where you are required to vary the switching sequence of only one IGBT. In PWM based scheme, you require to vary the switching sequences of all 6 IGBTs of the voltage source inverter. And here we are modifying the switching sequence of one IGBT only. So definitely that will also significantly improve the dynamic response of the overall dynamic response of the system, because of in order to follow any change, any required change, desired change, just you need to revise the switching sequence of one IGBT only, and definitely that will take lesser time, and you required only one high frequency switching IGBT. Okay, because of the cost of the IGBT also depends on the switching frequency requirement. Okay, so in voltage source inverter, here in fundamental switching, we are using the IGBTs which are operating at fundamental switching frequencies, so the overall cost of these IGBT will be very less. Okay, because you required very low frequency IGBTs. Okay, So you need not to pay that much. And these IGBTs, even these are the spare IGBTs and are available with all the companies, and the cost of these IGBTs is really very, very low in comparison to high frequency IGBTs. Okay. So that fundamentally it will reduce the cost, and it will reduce the switching losses, it will improve the efficiency. And now you require only one good quality IGBT which is capable of operating at high frequency. And similarly, the dynamic response will also be significantly improved by using this IGBT, because of only you require to change the switching sequence of one IGBT in order to track any sudden change in the load side. Okay. So second thing is the selection of these inductors. Okay. So you will be you require to select the inductor for your system very carefully. Okay. Inductor has two important rating. One is the rated current rating, another one the saturation current rating. Okay. So your inductor should not enter into the saturation region in any steady state or dynamic operating conditions. So usually inductors enter into the saturation region during the dynamic operating conditions. Okay. And for that small time, losses are significantly improved in all the system, in the overall system. Okay. In the particular in the switches. Okay. Because of the current in the system will be significantly high, and lot of distortion will be there because of saturation appear for a very small time. So although the system was stable even after removing that saturation automatically, but that is why the selection of inductor is very, very important while you are implementing the scheme in real time. Okay. So inductors are having two type of ratings: saturation current rating and rated current rating. So I have worked on this topic for 3-4 years, so 3-4 months. So dedicatedly for 15 to 18 hours a day, I had designed various inductors, and I also work with a German company, that is the Worth Electronics. Okay, for 3 months I have worked with the that German company Worth Electronics, and we had developed number of inductors. Okay, and what I had learned during that research work on inductors, that inductors it is really very difficult task to achieve the high inductance value at higher saturation current. Like if you require a inductor of 4 millihenry with 20 ampere current rating is a difficult task. If you required a 4 millihenry with a milliampere current rating, it is very easily available in the market. Okay, and if you required a 20 ampere with 1 nanohenry, okay, so then that is also available. Okay, so but if you require a 10 millihenry inductor with 20 ampere 30 ampere current rating, that is not available in the market. It is a limitation of this market. So definitely, as far as power electronics area is concerned, the designing of the inductor become very, very complicated. So because of you also required to reduce the size of your inductor, so it is not an easy task. It is really easy to implement that in your simulation, but while you will implement that in the real time, the saturation current will definitely play an important role. Okay, so how you can increase the saturation current rating of your inductor? That is the now main question comes. So you may increase the saturation current rating by either by increasing the size of your core, or by creating some air gap in your core of your inductor. Okay, by introducing some air gap in the core of that inductor, definitely you will significantly improve the saturation current rating of your inductor, but that will reduce the efficiency of your system because that will increase the losses in your inductor. Okay, so inductor selection is really very, very important. Now suppose if I introduces some air gap in the core of the inductor, definitely that will increase the saturation current rating, but it will able to increase the saturation current rating because of air never gets saturated. The air has it's the basic characteristic that air never get magnetically saturated. Okay, so whatever the amount of magnetic field you may have in the air, but air will never get saturated because of that magnetic field. Okay, so now because of you have inserted some air gap in the core, so definitely that significantly improve the saturation current. Okay, but if you create air gap in the core, definitely that will improve the saturation current level, but it will also increase the loss in that particular region. So in the surrounding areas of that open air portion, okay, in the core, the large amount of heat will be generated, and that will significantly reduce the overall efficiency of the inductor, and finally it will also reduce the overall efficiency of the system. But now because of the heat loss has been increased, so the rated current will be reduced, because rated current means how much current can be handled by the inductor, that is called the rated current. So whenever you will increase the saturation current by introducing some air gap in the core, that will increase the saturation current, but simultaneously that will reduce the rated current of that inductor. So what is the optimum value? That depends on the application, that depends on the requirement of the efficiency requirement of your system, that depends on the international standards of your area. Okay, how much efficiency and losses permitted by your standard, all those things will decide the design parameter for an inductor. Okay, so now next is the selection of diode. Okay, so while you are selecting your diode for your system, that is also equally important. Like in CSC converter, if you are using diode, it should be very high speed. Okay, so if you use a low switching frequency diodes, okay, so that will significantly increase the losses, and the dynamic ability of your system will also be reduced. Okay, so however, Polwali साहब,
हाँ डॉक्टर साहब बताएं सर।
सर कितना टाइम और है मेरे पास में अभी?
सर टाइम तो वैसे इट्स इंटरेस्टिंग टू बट 10 मिनट्स एज पर शेड्यूल 10 मिनट्स हो रहा है।
10 minutes. Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Let me finish the things in 10 minutes. Okay. So that is all about the scheme I had discussed, because of it required discussion. Okay. So I had tried to discuss some of the points that I had learned during my research work. Okay. So somehow now this is the photograph of the scheme that we have developed in the laboratory. Okay. And these are the voltage and current sensor, and this is the BLDC motor. Okay, this is the loading system. Okay, and this is a converter current probe, and this is DSpace 1104 DSP controller we have used for implementing this scheme. Although you may also implement this scheme using very simple microcontroller or the simple DSP controllers. Okay, very low cost controllers are capable of implementing this scheme. But however, because of we will implementing number of control algorithms, so we will be requiring the flexibility in the controller, because of being a researcher, we required to implement number of control schemes for getting more number of papers and more publications. So we use very powerful controller. Okay, so if you are using same scheme for your production, for industrial production purpose, so you may go for very low cost converter. Okay, so see these are the working of the converter in mode 1 and mode 2. In mode 1, switch is in on condition, and mode 2 when switch is in off condition. Okay, so when switch is in on condition, okay, so diode D1 will remain in off condition. Okay, and current will flow in the inner LC loop. Okay, and the inductor will be charged. Okay, okay, so and during the off period of the switch, okay, so current will flow in the two loops through the diode. Okay, and therefore the stored energy of the inductor LT will be transferred to the output capacitor, and through the output capacitor it will fed to the motor drive. Okay, And this is the Hall output of the Hall sensor position sensing system. Okay. And these are the simulation result of the scheme. So you can verify that the grid current and grid voltage both are perfectly sinusoidal and are in phase. Okay, so that is validating our claim of PFC, power factor correction. Okay, and third waveform is output voltage. Okay, and then switch current and voltage waveforms are shown. Okay, so then the current waveform of LT inductor and voltage waveform of CT inductor, CT capacitor are shown in the bottom traces of this figure. Okay, and see, this is the dynamic performance of the system. Okay, when suddenly the grid changes, grid supply voltage changes. Okay, so a very slight variation in DC link voltage is appearing here on the DC bus, but within few cycle it gets settled down. Okay, and it restored to its rated value. Okay, so definitely our system was the significantly improved version, okay, of the BLDC control, because of dynamic response of the system was very good. Okay, and it is tracking to the sudden load change. Okay, so see here, in previous we have changed the grid supply, sorry. Okay, and in the next slide we are changing here the suddenly changing the load on the motor. Okay, so suddenly load has been changed, but however again the DC link voltage is constant. Okay, and restored to its rated value in a very short time. Okay, then mm, now see, these are the steady state current waveform of grid voltage and grid current. Okay, and the phase current. Okay, of the motor phase current. Okay, then output voltage, DC bus voltage. Okay. And these are the real time stress on switch. So on state voltage drop and current. So these are the voltage and current waveform of the DC-DC converter switch. Okay. And this is the starting performance. So smoothly being operated. So this is, the motor is turned on very smoothly. So there is no jerk is recorded in real time on DSO. Okay. And this is the experimental result, the sudden change in the grid supply voltage. Okay. So still the DC link voltage is constant. Okay, and this is the dynamic response of the system when suddenly the DC reference has been changed. So definitely because of DC reference has been changed, so speed of the machine will be suddenly changed. Okay, in response to track the reference value of the speed. Okay, so that is perfectly tracked. Okay, and uh, that is the dynamic response when motor load has been suddenly changed. Okay, and this is the power quality performance of the system. So you can see that the it is operating at unity power factor both at 230 volt and at 90 volt. Okay, and almost unity power factor 0.99 and unity power factor. Okay, and the TSD of the source side current is also 3.6% and 2.4%. Okay, so at 230 volt and 90 volt. So for this universal supply voltage range, the power quality of my system is very good, and our system is really highly stable during this full range of operation. So this is really meeting all international standards of the power quality and speed control motor drives, and it shows the comparison of our scheme with the existing topology. It shows that we will be having better efficiency with our CSC converter, and the efficiency is also better, power factor correction is also better. Even at the lower speeds, we will be having a better power factor corrections. And thank you. Now the session is open for the question answer. You may ask any question regarding the implemented DC motor drive control.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Thank you for this wonderful, lively presentation. I request participants to ask their question either directly by unmuting himself, or you can write down the questions in the chat box. Professor Kalla can directly read out and answer your questions. Participants, if you have any question, you can directly unmute yourself or write down in chat box.
Hello.
Yeah, please ask.
Sir, I have a question.
Pardon?
Hello.
Yeah, please.
I have used Hall
Sir,
effect
actually,
position.
how to converter, inductor and capacitor to maintain the utility power factor unit?
Actually, your voice is not clear. पलवाल साहब आप सुन पा रहे हैं इनकी बात को क्या कह
I
रहे हैं?
am asking how to
No, your voice is
आवाज ड्रॉप हो रही है. आप एक काम करें, चैट बॉक्स पे लिखते हैं एक बार.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Das, you please write on chat box.
मिस्टर सूरज कुमार दास, आप चैट बॉक्स पे लिख दें या फिर जो है आपकी वॉइस बहुत टम्बल कर रही है. I think Mr. Zaid Khan was also unmuted himself to ask question. Zaid, would you like to ask?
Hello, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, please ask.
Sir, you have used Hall effect position sensor. Sir, what is the main utility for this Hall effect position sensor with the electronic communication?
Electronic communication. Okay, actually that is fundamentally required because of there are two type of sensorless scheme and with sensor scheme. Okay, so in this special machine, if you want to control the speed, you have to have the Hall effect position sensors. These are fundamentally installed in the machine itself also. So when you will purchase the motor, definitely Hall effects, it will come with the Hall effect sensor only in the market also. So if you purchase any BLDC motor from the market, it will come with the Hall effect sensors only. So this is the fundamental. These are the fundamental part, okay, of integrated part of this motor. Actually, you can say. So this electronic commutation circuit is used to generate the gating pulses when you are operating this in the fundamental switching scheme. Okay. So here the novelty is the DC-DC converter side because we are using here the fundamental scheme. Okay, it is well known. Definitely for that you require the Hall effect position sensors. Okay, so without position sensors, you will not be able to detect the position of the rotor, and you will not be able to switch the next winding. For transferring the energization from one I winding to another winding, you require the information about the position of the Hall effect, position of that coil on the rotor in real time. So Hall effect sensors are required installed within that motor, and they provide the information about the actual position of the rotor, means what is the actual location of that winding in that rotor. Okay, so it will give you the information that when you should energize the another winding, next winding. Okay, so that will give you the point of time where you are required to switching the power from one winding to another winding. Are you getting my point, Mr. Jay?
Getting your point. For that PQ performance, you have taken the experiment results. Which
Yeah, I think you are you have joined with the two links. So you switch off one link. That is why the disturbance in the voice is coming.
Okay, sir. Okay.
You have joined with the two links. You disconnect with one link and remain connect with another link. Then you ask, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Now you ask. Mr. Jay?
Yes, sir.
No, still there's problem with your voice.
Meantime, Mr. Suraj Kumar Das have written his question on chat box. Dr. Sab, can you answer that?
So what is the question? I'm not able.
How to calculate converter inductor, or here written falsely indicator, how to calculate converter, inductor and capacitor value to maintain unity power factor, unity. Means the
Okay.
converter, inductor, capacitor, how to calculate to maintain it unity power factor.
See, actually, the detailed design procedure is published in our joint publication with Professor Palwalia. So you may refer our paper actually. Okay, we'll send you the link. Okay. So recently we have published these papers in real time also in IT journal paper. Okay, in IT Power Electronics. So you may refer our paper for detailed design procedure. Even then, if you find some problem, you may discuss with us, and detailed formulas are mentioned, clear formulas are mentioned. So I'm not discussing here because it will take unnecessary lot of time, and detailed formulas are given in that paper. So you may refer that paper. And further, I would like to explain you that the values of inductor and capacitor will not may not affect that much to the PFC operation because of you have closed loop control. Okay, so even because of the value of inductor capacitor, if your system will get unstable, your closed loop control will make it stable, and it will revise the location of the poles and zeros of your control. Okay, continuously. Okay, by that it will improve your system, and it will also control the PFC operation of your controller. So even there will be some slight change in the design value, you need not to bother, because of if you have perfect control, that will take care of that. However, these design approximate values may be calculated using our paper.